Thanks for tuning in to our seller interview series. Up today, we've got an Amazon FBA business for sale in the outdoors niche. Created in June 2017, this business makes an average of $4,121 per month in net profit, and the listing number for this business is 46818. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the asset they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, Carolyn.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Great to have you here. Before we get started, I'm going to go over a quick summary of the business. This business was built in June 2017. This business has average monthly revenue of $22,705 and is producing an average net profit of $4,121, and that's based on a 12-month average. Included in the sale of the business are Amazon Seller Central account with 4 SKUs, trademark, and supplier relationships. Now that we have all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this interview. So, start me off. Can you tell me a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I didn't really have any before I started this business. My background is in school psychology and property management, and I got into this business because I was looking for flexibility with my family, and I was looking to bring extra income into my household. And I gave it a shot. I wasn't really sure what to expect or if it would work out, and it kind of grew from there.
Well, I think that leads me perfectly to my next question, because this is an Amazon FBA business. I'm always very curious as to what makes people pick, the particular business model they're working in. So why did you choose this business model? Why did you choose FBA?
Well, I didn't know anything about it, and I was volunteering at my child's school, and a fellow mom was across the way also volunteering, and she started talking about this, FBA thing she was doing. I had never even heard of, the term FBA at that point, and she was just so excited about making kind of passive income for the previous year. And I didn't even know her at the time. We've since become really good friends, but she just said, if you want to learn about it, I'd be happy to teach you what I've learned. And I'm always jumping at new opportunities. So I took her up on it, and that's how I got into it. Yeah, I had literally never even thought about selling on Amazon. I didn't know anyone who sold on Amazon. The thought had never crossed my mind until then.
Wow. I'm really interested to hear a little bit more about that. So take me from, okay, I know nothing about Amazon to this initial idea to start this business. How did that start and what did that look like?
So I met with this friend once a week for a handful of weeks, maybe 5 weeks. And she certainly didn't do any of the work for me, but we met for breakfast. And she'd give me the next step. And she told me to start listening to a well-known Facebook group, The Amazing Seller. And so, having seen what her numbers look like, I was really motivated to see what she was doing and really motivated to take action, which I kind of am, in everything in my life. Not to pat myself on the back or anything, but, when you have a family especially, you're really motivated to make things work for that flexibility. And so we did, and I looked at the numbers on Jungle Scout. At the time was the only platform that I was looking at. And, since then I know that there are quite a few platforms. And I looked and I looked and I looked over the course of a few months until finally I saw numbers that I really liked, a product that I thought really could work. And I started off with one product. It was going to be a tester. I was ready to just lose money if, it was kind of in my mind, I thought this might be a gamble. It might be money out the window, but what if it's not? Let me see what happens. And that's how it started. So it was about 6 months of learning kind of on my own. I was pregnant at the time and with another child. So of course, everything was a little slower, but yeah. And then once it kicked off, I was just going full speed. Actually, my first inventory batch landed in the Amazon warehouse and showed up on my Seller Central app the day I was due with my son. I was 42 weeks pregnant, and it showed up, and I was so excited. And so I really hit the ground running in more than one way that year, that month, that week.
Literally giving birth in 2 different ways, to a business and your next child. Wow, that is very impressive. I don't get to hear that often. So congratulations on being able to handle all that. You sound like a rock star.
Thank you. I did spend the next 6 months. I bought a minivan so that I could not only, breastfeed in the back and then also work on my laptop when he slept in the car. So yeah, I just really, again, just just tried to be a rock star. I'm not sure how I felt, but it certainly worked, you know.
Oh, that is amazing. And I think, yeah, very relevant story for a lot of listeners out there. And we definitely have, I'm sure, other parents going like, oh my gosh, how do I run my business and, have my family and my kids? So cool to hear that it can be done, even if it means multitasking the way that you just described.
Yeah.
That's a lot, but that's great. So tell me a little bit about why you're selling the business instead of keeping it and growing it.
Yeah, so it was a really hard decision to decide to, put it on the market, especially since I don't spend a lot of time, it pretty much runs itself at this point, minus I check in every day and make sure that everything's still up and running. Sometimes Amazon has glitches in their system, I mean, not often, but it's happened 2 times in the past couple of years. And just making sure that, nothing happens in between days, which it usually doesn't. And then orders every couple months or a few months. But as I mentioned previously, when I started this business, I was really, I chose my initial product based upon numbers alone. And now that I've gained so much experience with online, businesses and basically alternative ways to making money, besides working the 9 to 5, I just really feel nudged to go off in a different direction. And I have a pretty good idea of where I want to go from here. So I'd like to invest the money elsewhere. But it definitely was a hard decision since, the revenue is passive and incoming every month.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, we seem to get that a lot where people go, I've got this wonderful business, but, I'm looking at the next chapter, I'm looking at the next step. So that makes total sense as to where you are right now. One of my favorite things to ask people is talking about, the things that they learned throughout the process of having this business. So, is there anything you learned from this business that you would apply to, say, future sites or businesses? Or what did you learn in the process of doing this that just kind of worked for you?
I've learned that you never want to be lazy. You always want to make sure that you're, crossing your T's and dotting your I's and looking at the details, especially in the online world. Attention to detail is so important because there are so many people out there looking to, take the easy road and steal images and things like that. And in everything that I've been doing since in other areas of my life, I've been paying more attention to the detail and trying to make it increasingly difficult for competition to follow me. I don't make assumptions that my vendors will, previous vendors that I've worked with, I'm really happy with the vendors I currently use, will really go out of their way to make sure that I'm not paying more than I need to, or, doing things in the most efficient way. You really need to make sure that you're doing all of the research on your own, and definitely surrounding yourself or working with the right people, and building your team, even if they're not employees. So I guess those are 2 of the big things that I've learned.
Yeah, I think that's actually 2 pieces of really great advice. So thank you for sharing that. Of course, on the flip side, so, was there anything you tried that, say, didn't work and you learned from that while having this business?
That didn't work. Yes, definitely. And it actually circles back to the attention to detail, that lesson, or that piece of advice that I just stated. After the success of my first SKU, it was pretty rapid success because I had put a lot of time into the detail. But what I did was I got greedy and sloppy and, I had a newborn and I was greedy and sloppy. And I immediately went ahead and added a second and third SKU, and I didn't give it nearly the attention that I gave the first one or the other one that I'm selling, or the third and fourth that I'm selling with it, but my 2 revenue generators for sure. And so they didn't sell at all. They sold I think literally maybe 3 orders, between them both. And it's because no one cared. They weren't differentiated from anyone else's in any special way. And so that was a big lesson for me.
Yeah, I think that's also, a really great piece of advice. I know a lot of FBA business owners are listening to this going, yeah, been there, know that, know that lesson. So.
Yeah, and I liquidated both, so.
Okay, cool. All right. Moving on to, let's talk about your traffic and your marketing. So where does the majority of your traffic come from?
I am exclusively on Amazon. So although I do have a website, there's no traffic on my website. And is purely informational and for the brand registry. So it all comes from Amazon and their advertising, the PPC.
Okay. And is there anything else that you're doing in terms of marketing?
Not at this point, no.
Okay, cool. Well, I think you touched on this earlier, but I want to open the floor just in case you have anything else. So can you describe the process of getting the inventory to Amazon?
Yes. So, from the very beginning, I noticed that I need more inventory. I contact my supplier because, built a relationship with them. They offer a 60-day lead time period, which is very good for this product that is, kind of in high demand as far as manufacturing goes. And they do that to help me in my business with inventory control. And, I know when to expect it. I contact my door-to-door shipping company and they do, they arrange with my manufacturer to obtain the goods, and it goes, well, it can either go directly to the Amazon warehouse, again, door to door. So I don't participate in any of the logistics there. I just started using a third-party warehouse in Pennsylvania. I just started building that relationship in the last few months in an effort to reduce the storage costs with Amazon in their warehouses. So it can also go to the warehouse, but it doesn't have to. And then the owner of the warehouse is notified if I want a shipment sent in to Amazon, and it's really easy for me to do. I just the other day, and all I have to do is send over the shipping files, and she does the rest of the work and contacts the shipping company, and it's routed over to FBA. So it's very, very easy.
If you were to keep the business, what are some ways that you would try to grow it?
Yeah, so I definitely have considered growing it with, there are a handful of products that really make sense for it to be bundled with that also have really good numbers. And I've thought of that. So I would consider bundling. But yeah, that would be my first step, is the bundling. There are two potential avenues, I guess, directions that, these products kind of fall into.
Great. And yeah.
Does that make sense? Was that clear?
Yeah, so see the opportunity with bundling. I was going to follow up and say, based off of what you were saying about, your marketing and, things going on with traffic, I assume that there's room to start doing a little bit more marketing with this business to, bolster sales and things like that.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, I just haven't personally. So this business is comprised of 4 total SKUs. 2 of them have been around, for pretty much the duration of the business. The second one followed shortly after the first, the success of the first. And those are the ones that are generating all of the revenue as of right now. The other 2 are new items that don't have a history because they literally just kind of made it in the doors of Amazon. So they're brand new SKUs, and they're actually in a different niche. So, the person who would be considering this business could take a look at that as a new area of opportunity, but they don't have to. Again, all of the revenues generated in the sports and outdoors category at this time.
Great answer. On the flip side of opportunities, we always make sure that we cover the risks. So what do you think are the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
Yeah, well, I think that we all know that selling on Amazon exclusively is a risk. For the products I sell, they aren't products that someone is likely to search for outside of Amazon, really. They're not likely to go into a store to buy them or to like a brand name website, which is sort of why I do my marketing exclusively on Amazon. It just doesn't make sense for me to do it in any other way. So that's a risk for anybody who sells on Amazon exclusively. And a second risk is that, there's always competition. So there's an increasing amount of competition every day, and that's just across the board with anything that's working in any product category. So those are the biggest risks that I see.
Let's talk a little bit about the work that you put into this business. Before you were commenting that it's pretty passive. So can you describe to me the amount and type of work that you're doing for maintenance?
Yep. So on most days and most weeks, I literally spend about 30 seconds just Googling my keywords and making sure that, nothing has really changed. So that's what I do on most days. I mean, it's pretty passive. And then once in a great while, like I said, every several months, I will reach out for a new order. At the very, very most on any given day, or I'd say on any given week, The most amount of time that I spend on this business is really minutes. Even when I need to do an order and make a shipment and communicate, I mean, an hour at most on any given week, even during the busiest times. It really is passive at this point in time. And the type of work I do is exactly what I described. So just reaching out for new inventory, contacting the shipping company, confirming that goods have arrived, checking my account, making sure nothing's changed, maybe looking at my PPC and adjusting slightly. And then once in a great while, somebody will reach out regarding their order. And so I'll respond, but maybe I'll get one message every couple or a few weeks.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Definitely congratulations on getting it to the point where you've gotten it now where it runs so passively and it's just kind of handling itself. So, I would say kudos to you there.
Thanks.
What skills or requirements are there for someone not familiar with the niche or business model?
Well, I don't think there are many skill requirements for those that maybe aren't familiar with the niche, but are familiar with the business model, and are already selling on Amazon. But as far as if you're new to Amazon selling, the way I view it now after doing this for a while is that it's really it's learning how to do business in a different way. It's going into a new career field completely. So it's not just how do I sell on Amazon, but how do I become a little bit of everything, right? So the skills are you need to be able to perform your own research and be self-directed. You need to be organized. You need to be a good communicator. And you need to be willing to learn because all the information is out there. And for this specific business that I'm selling, there aren't too many skills. Like if somebody wanted to purchase this business and never learn anything, again, except how to run this business, it would be very easy because I'm not doing much and I have a system set up, which is pretty simple. There aren't many steps to what I'm doing at this point in time, But obviously that's not a sustainable model. So all the skills I mentioned before are definitely necessary if you want to grow.
Absolutely. How much support are you offering buyers?
I think I mentioned 30 days of ongoing support. And I would definitely be open to any questions coming at a later time. I've transitioned a property manager before, and sometimes you don't know what you don't know, until 6 months down the road, a question pops up. But I think officially I've said 30 days.
Okay, great. Would you commit to a non-compete?
Absolutely.
Are you open to negotiating something like an earn-out?
Yes.
Okay. One of my final questions, but also my favorite ones. Putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
I think the value of this business is the fact that it is so passive. Right now, it earns regular revenue with very little effort. And there's definitely a lot of potential for the right buyer, maybe a buyer that has, similar products already, maybe someone that's already in this niche or someone who's interested in this niche. I think the fact that it's passive and successful are the two main reasons. It definitely offers a lot of flexibility in my life.
Thanks for giving me some of your time today. Really appreciate having you on and just really looking forward to seeing how this plays out for you. I wish you the best of luck.
You're welcome. And thank you for your time as well. Thank you so much.
If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. And if you want more information, the link will be below the video that'll take you to this marketplace listing. If you're watching this on the listing page and want more information, become a depositor today. When you make the deposit, one of our business analysts will be in contact with you and you'll be given everything you need to review this business. Have a great day.